Welcome to Shail's Kitchen, home of good food and good memories. So here's my take on an Irish favorite for St. Paddy's Day: corned beef and cabbage with a Caribbean twist. So it is Sunday night, it's St. Patrick's Day, affectionately known as St. Paddy's Day, and I had to work today, so I was trying to think what I could cook that would be along my Irish theme for my dinner and something that will be quick too. So I stopped at Publix and I got a cabbage that's on sale, and I also got some corned beef. Now, a lot of you may not be familiar with this, but this is what we grew up on in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm going to show you how to make a delicious quick dish using the corned beef and the cabbage. And hey, look, I'm still wearing my St. Paddy's Day bling. For the corned beef, I'll be using some tomatoes and onions, some garlic. Mommy made some green seasoning just before she ground the garlic. That's why it looks like that. So it's got a lot of good stuff in it. Some extra virgin olive oil and sweet cream unsalted butter. And some herbs. I'm going to use some flat leaf Italian parsley. And this is optional. You can use some hot pepper. I have a nice habanero here that I can chop up and put a few slices in. If you're not familiar with this way of opening the can of corned beef, I just want to demonstrate this real quick. So there's this little key that's attached to it. So what I usually do is I just take it out and you put it on in the opposite way that it was when you bought it. And then you're just going to turn this and just keep going all the way around. If you prefer, you can always remove the label from the can first before you do this part. Totally up to you. And then when you come to the end where you started from, see, there you have your corned beef, your canned corned beef ready to use. Once you have your corned beef out of the can and you cut it up into chunks, this will be a good point to taste it, because usually corned beef has a certain level of salt to it. So you want to taste it to make sure you know how much salt that you're going to need to add additionally when you're cooking. Because remember, we do have the tomatoes, so that's an additional element which doesn't have any salt in it at this point. But that way you can get a better idea in terms of when you start cooking how much additional salt you're going to need. Let me show you how easy it is that I'm going to do the cabbage. I'm going to steam it, but I have just a small quantity of water in the bottom of this, maybe about a 1/4 inch or so, and I'm bringing it up to heat. I want to get it on high to a good heat where it starts to bubble, and then I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Timer just went off. It's been 5 minutes, so let's give this cabbage a check. I think this is perfect. I am still getting a little crunch on it, but that's the way I want it, because the residual heat is going to continue cooking the cabbage a little bit more. So I'm going to take this off now. All I did was season the cabbage with a little bit of kosher salt and coarse ground black pepper. And now I'm just going to drizzle it with some extra virgin olive oil. Now we're going to start the corned beef, and I have some butter melting in extra virgin olive oil. First thing, I'm going to add the onions. Saute the onions for about 1 minute. Next, we're going to add the garlic. And I think I'm just going to add the pepper in there one time. And we're going to saute this for another minute. I'm going to continue sauteing the tomatoes, onions, garlic, and the pepper for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I already did some kosher salt and some coarse ground black pepper to the pot to give those tomatoes a little extra flavor. This looks really good. Now it's time to add the corned beef. I remember Mommy making this for us when we were growing up. She used to make it all the time. And I loved it when she made this because it was like a treat, and she would make it for breakfast for us. It was the best breakfast treat. But you know, this kind of dish you can eat all through the day, anytime. And you can have it with rice, you can have it with roti, or you can even have it, one of my favorite ways is to like make some toast or just have like a nice piece of bread and make a sandwich with it. Get all those juices running down your fingers and licking them off. All right. So remember, our corned beef is already cooked. It's pre-cooked. So all we need to do is really heat this through, get all those nice flavors infused with the tomatoes, the onions, the garlic, the pepper, and so it's just gonna go like a couple more minutes, and then we should be done. You can see that the cabbage still has a crunch to it, but it's also tender enough to cut with a butter knife. So that's really nice. Perfect meal. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Shail's Kitchen, home of good food and good memories.